Hey everyone, welcome in. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep, sounds good.
Awesome. Thanks for joining, guys.
Well, thanks for arranging this. I'm excited to learn.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm excited to meet everyone. I know I've met a couple of you guys individually. But yeah, excited to help everyone with YouTube and kind of get a little accountability group going. Um, so I have a few slides I put together today just to present and also just kind of wanted to get feedback from you guys and see, what everyone wants to get out of this. Um, Basically, I just kind of thought it'd be nice to have a little group for YouTube because I feel like the idea of having, a YouTube channel to get leads for our agencies always seems to come up in the calls. And I've actually been doing YouTube before I've been doing SEO. So I've learned a few things about it. And just kind of wanted to put this group together to hopefully kind of learn together, have, a little bit of a group to have some kind of accountability. Because I know with YouTube, it seems like the biggest challenge is like the mental side of things. So getting started, especially, I remember what it was like in the beginning. So yeah. All right, now we've got a few people in here. Hi everyone, in case we haven't met before. My name is Jacob. So I had a few slides I wanted to put together just to kind of introduce myself, talk about a few things. Today, I really wanted to go over the actual setup for filming videos, kind of how to figure out what kind of setup you want to have. Um, Let me present this, share my screen with you guys. Okay, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so welcome. Thank you again, guys, for joining this. And I read over everyone's survey results, and I thought that was just really helpful for me to get to know you guys. So going forward, I'm not sure, how this is going to turn out. I kind of want this to be a thing that we can all kind of agree on together. Today, though, I want to talk about just figuring out your setup because that seemed to be a recurring theme with the surveys. Also, this meeting is going to be recorded, so if you guys want to look this over, again, I can send the slides to you guys afterwards. All right, quick agenda I wanted to go over. First, just wanted to introduce myself a little bit in case we haven't met. Talk about the accountability group, kind of some ideas I had. If you guys have anything to share or any questions, please feel free, just let me know. Raise your hand, send a message in the chat, just unmute yourself. I kind of want this to be a very informal group. And then I have some things to share about actually figuring out your setup, audio, lighting, and then Q&A. I kind of had this idea of making this similar to Nathan's calls where sometimes he has something to present and then sometimes it's just Q&A. But yeah, so I'll get right into it. A little bit about myself in case we haven't met. I think I've seen all you guys before in the coaching calls, but so my niche is lead generation for real estate agents. I'm based in St. Louis. I've been doing YouTube for about 5 years now, and then SEO for 2 years. Everything I do revolves around lead generation for real estate agents. So everything I've learned about lead generation off of YouTube is tailored to the real estate industry. And I'll talk about this in a minute, but I've been trying to branch that out and use YouTube to generate SEO leads. Still a little bit of a work in progress, but that's kind of why I wanted to have this group too. My operation right now, as far as how I run things, I have two full-time VAs. One of them just helps me edit YouTube videos. The other one does kind of everything else. I have two freelance writers. I have 6 realtors that help me out here in St. Louis. And then I'll use developers and designers as needed. Background wise, I went to Northeastern University, studied finance, graduated in 2022. And then I just want to be fully transparent. Whoops. So these are the 3 channels that currently have my attention. There have been others, but just kind of wanted to, put everything out there for you guys. This is what I've done. The Living St. Louis channel is by far like that's kind of my baby. That's been a work in progress for 4 years. Grew it from nothing to 10,000 subscribers. It's got almost 1.5 million views. And as far as revenue goes, it's been the biggest driver for my business. way more so than SEO. The biggest source of revenue comes from real estate closings. So 100% of that is from leads that we get through the YouTube channel. I delegate those to real estate agents, and then they will close them. And then it's all based off the gross commission when those deals close. The Urban International one, that was just kind of a side project a while back, that was really just focused around creating viral videos, and making money off of AdSense and sponsorships. Definitely not as big a source of revenue compared to Living St. Louis channel. It was more so just kind of for fun and just to try a different style of doing YouTube. And then real estate SEO strategy is kind of the newest one. Definitely been a work in progress, and it's been a very slow start with that channel. I'm guessing it's just because talking about SEO and growing on YouTube is probably a much more competitive niche. So that one's kind of been a learning curve for sure. Revenue with that one's negative 5,000, just because that's probably about what I've spent as far as editing goes. I'm not saying any of this to brag or anything, just I want to be transparent with you guys. These are the projects I've worked on, and this is kind of what I've learned about YouTube. By the way, does it block the slide when I have the Zoom thing on the left? Do you guys see that, or is that just me?
Nope, I think you're just seeing that.
Okay, just want to make sure. Perfect. And again, yeah, just stop me at any time if you guys have questions. I wanted to also show you guys the survey results. So thank you to everyone on this call for filling out that survey. I just wanted to use that to get to know you guys and hopefully tailor this group to, match what you guys are looking for. Most people, it seems, have not started a YouTube channel, but they want to make one. And most people said they wanted to get on a call either once a week or once every 2 weeks. So I will definitely do my best to make that happen. And some of my goals with this group, obviously, since a big chunk of people here haven't started a YouTube channel but want to do one, I feel like it'd be a really good goal to, first of all, get everyone on YouTube. And hopefully today will help you guys. I want to help you guys feel more confident and more comfortable with the setup, because I know that, just it feels like with YouTube, there's a higher barrier to entry than it is with SEO, because there's a whole aspect of filming yourself on camera, having your setup. And I know that it can definitely be a challenge figuring out how to navigate that, especially when it comes to cameras, lighting, audio stuff. So I kind of wanted to start with that and then go from there, depending on what you guys want to hear more about. Also thought it'd be cool if we can get Nathan on some of these calls at some point. Selfishly, I have a lot of questions that I would like to ask him about his YouTube setup, and not really the setup, but his SOPs and kind of the behind the scenes operation. But yeah. And then very open to feedback here, but going forward with this group, I kind of thought that it would be good to kind of go in the order from, getting started on YouTube with the setup, and then just, filming your first couple of videos, getting traction, and then kind of moving on to some more of the topics to cover once you've already established somewhat of a channel. So coming up with ideas, maybe that's keyword research, maybe that's, using different softwares and plugins to to get the most out of your channel. And then some of the more, I guess, high level stuff like lead gen, and then delegating, especially when it comes to editing, is going to be a big part. Could be delegating channel management, thumbnails, that kind of stuff. Okay, now for the actual setup, I had a few things I wanted to cover. Hang on, I'm trying to see the chat. Yeah, great idea, Graeme. Yeah, if we want to take a few minutes and kind of go around, I think that'd be great to get to know each other. Let me open these up. Graeme, do you want to go first?
Sure. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yeah.
You can. Hi. I'm Graeme. You've probably seen my ramblings in the Gotch Academy. Pretty, as you can tell, pretty passionate about what I'm doing, especially the niche that I'm working in. Based up here in Ottawa. I do actually have a YouTube channel on a very, very micro niche channel, I suppose. I just hit 1,000 subscribers. That's been going a couple of years, but I have not been posting very regularly. So 35 videos or so. Equipment and stuff, like Jacob, I know a lot about equipment and what's good and what's not. So feel free to also ask me any questions, or if I can add anything, that would be great. And I'm also very, very interested in podcasting, which has been another channel that has been a success for me as well. And given that we're talking about YouTube, I understand that, but of course, podcasting, if you have a microphone, you're good to go.
Yeah, absolutely. And yeah, congrats on 1,000 subscribers, by the way. That's awesome.
That's me.
Awesome. I'm just going in the order you guys are on my screen. Dale, do you want to go next?
Sure, thanks.
Yeah.
Dale Mikawa. I'm in Southern California, in Murrieta, which is right next to Temecula and just north of San Diego. I've only been in the agency and SEO business for about a year, so I'm still I'm just a novice trying to learn. I joined the academy, Nathan's Academy, last December, and I'm also part of his rankability group as well. And I have about 5 clients right now, just trying to grow the business. So, revenue's about 8,000 a month or so, in that range. So still getting started, trying to figure out SOPs, and I just do everything myself right now. So I'm trying to figure out how to do that. And then I want to learn about YouTube, because I want to be able to offer to my clients, to my SEO clients especially. So
That's smart.
that's kind of where I'm at. But I'm at the very basic beginnings of this. So
Awesome. Yeah. What niche, by the way? Sorry if you said that already. Are your clients kind of across different industries?
they're across the board, but I'm now focused on home/trade services, primarily plumbers and HVAC. So
Okay. Nice. Tyler, you want to go next?
Yeah. So I'm Tyler. I've been running my SEO company full time for a little bit over 2 years now. I've been doing SEO for probably 6. The first 4 years, I was just like, picking up like 1 to 2 clients at really, really low retainers, and I just like never really was serious about it until a little bit, probably 2.5 years ago. But I would say in the last year, I niched down into the fashion industry, so fashion e-commerce SEO.
Nice.
Yeah, I've just been doing YouTube now for a couple months, probably 2-ish months, maybe 3 months. I have 22 videos total. They're all very, very raw videos. Nothing, my setup isn't great. I just now got a microphone. Otherwise, I was just
Nice.
using like my laptop microphone and everything.
Mhm.
But yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. Just still very, very beginning stages of YouTube, and just trying to kind of have that niche down focus of like SEO for fashion. So yeah, that's where I'm at.
Awesome. Yeah, perfect. By the way, welcome, Ben. We're just kind of going around right now. I'm calling on people in the order they're on my screen, just to kind of do a little bit of an introduction. And you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, thanks for putting this together. It's so funny because I kind of like just committed myself to doing YouTube like a week or two ago. And so, like the universe works in mysterious ways. So yeah.
Yeah, I saw that in your survey. Let's make it happen.
Yeah, now I'm on the spot, right? Like I'm totally committed, right? It's gonna be
Yep.
embarrassing if I don't upload a video. So yeah, I've been in the SEO space for, I don't know, over 10 years. I had an agency in Hawaii. We did web design and SEO and Google ads and all that kind of stuff. And then I moved to San Diego. Hey, Dale, we're neighbors. I'm in North County, San Diego. And so I moved to San Diego, and I partnered with a company in Hawaii, and we have a couple of e-commerce sites selling Hawaiian leis. So if you see me ask that question over and over again in the group, that's why. And I have just a small handful of clients, but I want to grow my business and my agency business. And I've decided to focus on the like med spa, anti-aging clinic space because I did have a client and I was pretty successful with them. And so I kind of like that space, and I have a lot of subject matter expertise. So I think that's what I want to niche down with my channel, and just targeting, that clientele. So
Yeah, awesome. Perfect. Sonia, do you want to go next?
Yeah, sure. So I've been in the SEO space for about 10 years or so, but I was working in agencies before. So I only started my own business 3 years ago, more or less like you, Tyler. Before it was more, I was not taking it seriously. It was just one contract here and there. And then I decided to go full time. And then interestingly, I had a YouTube channel in the past, but it was a long time ago. So I kind of know the basics, but I'm guessing a lot has changed since. So I had a YouTube channel from, it was 2013, I think, to 2017-ish or so.
Nice.
Yeah, I grew it to 10K subscribers. It was a French speaking channel.
Okay.
I'm a native French speaker, living in Canada right now, but I'm French. And so yeah, it was kind of a side project, and I just basically left it to die, which I regret now, but it is what it is. And so yeah, I'm not starting from scratch, but I'm guessing a lot has changed. It's much more competitive now. And also one thing that has changed is I am targeting mainly English speakers. Most of my clients are in the US. So I would have to speak English, which is a challenge for me because it's not my native language. So even though I'm speaking English with my clients all the time, it's still not my mother tongue. So I might be making mistakes from time to time. So this is something that I'm trying to kind of overcome, a fear that I have, that maybe no one would watch my videos because they won't understand what I'm saying.
Yeah, I admire that. That's very, very brave of you. I respect that a lot.
Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right, Guy, do you want to share next?
Yeah, can you guys hear me?
Yep.
Yeah. I've had I have about a year and a half experience in SEO. I started off at an agency as an apprentice at my college. I would say the first year was just like, me focusing on just passing college. And then I'm now 6 months in with my SEO company. I'm 21 and I have about 3 clients. They're all in the fitness niche. It's quite funny, like, because one is like a fitness class, one is a personal trainer, and one offer personal training courses. And I go to the gym, so it really helps me, like, being able to write the content myself, knowing like what I'm writing is perfect. I'm looking to expand in more niches like plumbers or construction companies. But yeah, I'm just looking to like take my company more seriously, really. I feel like I've never focused on it. I kind of just focus on my clients' work, but I never really built my company. So yeah, that's it. That's why I joined the academy about 3 months ago. Yeah, and things are starting to take off now.
Yeah, that's awesome. Absolutely. And yeah, with YouTube, I'm sure we could definitely, get you up there, because I feel like especially, and I know Nathan talks about this all the time, like, using it as a source of lead gen, like it can't be beat. So yeah, I'm excited. And then Ben, you want to go next? I know you joined a few minutes late. We're just kind of introducing ourselves. Any, past experience with SEO, YouTube, and kind of what our industry or niche specialty is.
Cool, sounds good. Hello, everyone. So yeah, my name's Ben. I'm from the UK, and I've been running my agency for I started off in web design. I've been doing it for about 6 years now. For the first probably say 5 years, I kind of just coasted with it and didn't take it too seriously. And in the last year, I've really started to push the business. I've not got a niche just yet, or an industry that I'm specifically targeting, basically because I feel like I'm just not found that love or that passion just yet, or just found the industry that I'm willing to go all in on. But I offer SEO I offer Google ads and Facebook ads. I find a lot of my work at the moment comes from doing websites and then naturally just selling, just, you know, upselling other services. I've never gone on YouTube. I've never really used YouTube for leads, but I understand how powerful it is. I've seen some of your videos, Jacob, as well. I've seen you killing it on there. And obviously Nathan is that I'd watched Nathan a lot before I joined the academy. So
Same
and it's a
here.
no-brainer. You can't personally, I believe you can't build any better trust than having a human interaction like we are now. And so video is just the answer. I mean, building websites, I always advise to my clients, look, if you can get a video and we can have that on the homepage, there's going to be nothing better than that to build trust. And a lot of the sale will be done. So I just need to you know, I tell my clients all these things and don't do any of it myself. So now's the time to start doing it my own business and start really pushing it. I'd say over the last year, I've made more progress in my business than I have in the last 5, as I said. So, and
That's
yesterday
awesome.
I landed a new client, which is private jet interior design. So this may just be my niche because that is absolutely insane. So
That sounds
thought
really
I'd
cool.
get some good news because I'm really excited about that. I nearly fell off my chair when I got the client. So yeah, that's
Awesome. Congrats,
a bit
Ben.
about yeah. Thank you.
Yeah, of course. All right, perfect. Yeah, glad to get to know all you guys. I'm glad that we're kind of like across the board and as far as, you know, industries we serve and, you know, experience with YouTube and with SEO. So I really want this group to be something where we can kind of help each other out. You know, whether it's, you know, SEO related, YouTube related, obviously being a big focus of that. Okay, so I have a few things I put together. Hopefully I want this to help you guys if you're, you know, brand new to YouTube getting started, and hopefully even if you've done some videos before, maybe there will be a few things you can learn from this. If you have any questions or anything, send it in the chat or just unmute yourself. I'm trying to pay attention to chat while I'm doing this. This is kind of my first time like making a presentation on Zoom, so trying to figure it out, and it makes me have more respect for when Nathan does this during the coaching calls. Okay, so talking about setups. First thing that I would recommend is, you know, think about YouTube a little bit differently. When you guys are watching videos, you know, I don't know what your habits are as far as consuming content, but what you'll notice the more that you do YouTube is that, you know, the more you make videos, the more you film videos, it kind of changes the way that you look at other creators on YouTube. And especially when you're getting started, this is something I did a lot. Kind of pay attention to who you're watching and who you like, whether it's, you know, the actual setup they have. This is kind of what I was trying to show here, different ways you can, you know, create your setup. And even just, you know, the way they speak, the way they do edits. I find myself oftentimes just either texting myself a link to a video or screenshotting something that I see in a video that I like, where I'm like, I like that, like with whether it's a text edit or some kind of animation or whatever. Kind of always be thinking about that and try to find some examples of people that you want to model after. So again, whether that's the actual setup, whether it's you know, a special edit or an effect they did, I think that is something that has helped me tremendously because, and I'll talk about this in a minute, you know, in the beginning, like it's always a little bit rough, you know, trying to figure it out and trying to put your own spin on how you want to run your channel. And just to kind of show you, you know, I don't know if you guys, obviously we all know Nathan, I'm sure you guys know Brian Dean, but these are just kind of some people that I've, you know, watched frequently on YouTube. And, you know, they all have their own style of doing things and their own setup, but I would recommend, you know, kind of keep that in the back of your mind when it comes to watching YouTube, is just to pay attention to all the different ways that other people make their videos. And, you know, you can filter to someone's oldest videos if you want to see, you know, how they started, because it is definitely progress over time. It gets better if you focus on making every video a little bit better than the first one you did. That's growth right there. So a couple tips that I have from personal
Jacob, is this recording?
experience.
Sorry,
Yes, this is recording. Yep.
Okay, perfect.
Yep, this is recording. So I'll send you guys the slides and the link to the recording after this. So first up, when it comes to actually finding a spot where it's like, okay, where do you want to actually film your videos? It might be helpful if you pick a room that is quiet, not going to have a lot of noise from outside. Obviously, that might depend on, you know, where you live. It might be good to have a room with a lot of carpet or wall coverings, depending on the microphone you want to use. So I'll talk about microphone options in just a minute. And then stuff like just trying to make your background look a little cute, you know, lamps, decorative items, fake plants. You know, if we go back to this previous slide, if you see what's in the background, almost everyone has some fake plants, books, little decorative lights or plaques or something like that. Again, just something to kind of pay attention to when you're watching people on YouTube. And depending on, you know, how much space you have available, I don't think it's realistic for most people to have a like just one room dedicated to being their YouTube setup the whole time, myself included. I film videos in the room I'm in right now, but this is also the office that I work in every single day. So having a space where you can use it, you know, in your daily life, but also something that's easy to just kind of clean out the desk, clean out, you know, your environment to make it a little bit more minimal for filming videos. So that's some stuff to think about when it comes to finding an actual spot for your videos. And then with the actual setup, you'll hear me say this a lot today, you got to experiment a lot. I cannot tell you how many dozens and dozens of hours I have spent just in a room with a camera or my phone filming, and I'll just sit there for, you know, maybe 20 seconds max, just, you know, talk to the camera. Hi, I'm Jacob. Today we're making a video about keyword research or whatever. I'll film it for like 20 seconds, stop, watch it to see how it looks, and just like making adjustments, you know, turning on different lights, changing the colors, maybe rearranging whatever's in the background. I've done that a lot, and especially because I've filmed in different rooms in my house. You know, before I had this office setup, this space I'm in right now was intentional. I was intentional about making it with YouTube in mind, but before that, and I'll show you some of my previous setups, I have filmed on the couch before. I filmed next to my bed for a really long time. And just wherever you are, try to experiment with, you know, rearranging yourself and your setup and maybe the background behind you to figure out what you like that you can maybe replicate over and over again. And yeah, Graeme, yeah, whole year of filming and deleting, experimenting before you published. Yeah, I get that. I've definitely experimented a lot. What I do too with my setup, I will find somewhere I can hide my phone or my computer and have it still right in front of me for filming videos. So I like to have either bullet points or sometimes like a partial script. I don't full out script my videos word for word. If you want to do that, I think that's a very personal preference. That's up to you. The thing about that, like where can you hide your phone or like your laptop or your iPad to look at it while you're filming? Or not while you're filming, but, you know, have it there so you can take a break and review your notes. Another thing is that once you've experimented, once you've figured out a setup you like, take a picture of the room. Sometimes I'll just do like, I'll take my phone and do like a video walk around the room so I can see, okay, here's where the ring light is, here's where the camera is, the lights, all that kind of stuff, because I've had multiple times where I will watch a video and be like, I really like that, but I cannot figure out how to recreate it. And I will try and it'll look a little bit different, not the same. And especially this is a problem if you're filming in your office or your bedroom or a room you actually use where you can't keep your camera set up there the whole time. You want to make notes and take pictures of your setup so you can try to mimic that as best you can. And depending on the camera or the lighting or, you know, how you're getting your audio and video, take notes of the settings. So I'll talk about this in a minute. You can absolutely use an iPhone for video. Like that is a great choice. I personally have started using a camera. I started a couple years ago, and the settings were a complete nightmare to figure out. I had to watch so many videos. I bought this little course on how to, you know, do videography, because that's not like, if that was foreign territory to me. And I had to like write down all the settings because I lost it a few times, and I was like, where do I even start with trying to recreate this? So my point here is, you know, you got to experiment a lot and take notes. You know, if you have a setup where you like it, write down what you're doing, take a picture, take a video, so that way you can recreate that in the future is one of the biggest things I will say about finding your setup. You will get better over time. Okay, so this on the left, November 2020, that was one of the first videos I ever filmed on my St. Louis real estate channel. My first videos are all now unlisted because what I did is after a year or two, I just went back and recreated the same exact video, but it was way better video, way better editing. I was not good on camera. Looking back, it's very cringy. I talked way too fast. I moved my head, my hands around way too much. I still got leads. And honestly, like that's kind of all I cared about. I got money, I made leads, coming in. And I, took that money and invested that into a better setup. So, this is kind of, the almost 4-year progression. It gets better. But everyone kind of has a rough start on YouTube. Like I said, if you filter someone's videos by the oldest ones they have, it will look very different, I'm sure, than what it does now. Myself, Nathan, like pretty much anyone on YouTube, I promise you that will probably be the case if they've been doing it for more than a couple years. So again, I'm just trying to be fully transparent with you guys on this call, showing, putting it all out there. That's how I started. It was literally just me on the couch. I had this LED strip, which I decided to just put back there for some color. I don't really know. But that's how it started. And it worked, and done better than perfect. Yeah, 100%, Sonia. Okay, microphones. So the thing with YouTube, obviously, like it really depends on your personal choice. Like there is not one size fits all. So I'm going to talk about a few. I've used all these before. I know Nathan talks a lot about having a lav mic. Great option, very cheap, very easy. I kind of tried to rate these on my opinion on using them. So lav mic, great choice. Mostly easy to use. Sometimes it gets weird, like connecting it to your shirt, depending on what you're wearing, like and how much you're moving around. Sometimes it can cause issues if you're wearing like a jacket or some kind of larger coat or something. And sometimes it's not easy to like hide, depending on how you want to do that. Overall, great choice. Pretty easy to use. The audio quality is great. And then you have some sort of mic that you can mount onto your camera or onto your phone. Another great choice. I would say that's sometimes easier to use than lav mic, just because once it's on the camera or your phone, you're good. You don't have to mess around with, clipping it on and making sure it's close enough to your mouth. Audio quality, I gave it a 2-star, but it really depends on where you are. And this is one of the reasons why I said on one of the previous slides, you might want to think about picking a room that has a lot of carpet and wall coverings, because if you're using a microphone like this, especially if it's further away from your face, if you're in a room that does not have a lot of wall coverings, and if it's like hardwood floors or tile floors, it will be very, very echoey. And the thing, in my opinion, with video is that the audio quality matters sometimes a lot more than the video quality, especially because I don't know how you guys watch YouTube videos, but sometimes I will just kind of play it and it'll be on in the background, or I'll play it while I'm on a walk or something. So I'm not always watching the video, but I am listening. So the audio is something you really want to think about. And depending on the room you plan on filming in, if you're in a room with, like when I was in my bedroom, carpet, the bed was right there, there's stuff on the wall, like this was great. In my office right now, this is not, I don't like this because it's too echoey. There's hardwood floors. Everything just kind of echoes. But also a great choice, like I said, if you're in a room where that makes sense. And then what I use currently is the Shure MV7, much more expensive a microphone. I've gone through several microphones, both lav mics, the mounted mics, the standalone mics like the Shure. It's not the easiest to use and set up. You have to record twice basically, because you film the video and the audio separate. So that adds a little bit of complexity when it comes to filming and editing and putting it together. Audio quality is great. It is like top notch. If you want like a very podcast sounding audio, a microphone like this is great. Easy to plug into your computer, whether it's this microphone or another kind of standalone microphone like that. Audio quality is really good. And then another thing too I want to mention is that if you're planning on using your phone, you might want to double check the kind of like adapter that comes with the microphone, because I have a Rode. It's not this one, very similar, but I basically have to have like 2 of these connections because my iPhone 14 doesn't have the headphone jack. So I need like a connector to the dongle, and then it goes into my phone, and there's like a thing that converts the audio. Just something to keep in mind depending on which one of these options you guys choose. So that's audio. And then lighting. Again, lighting is super important, also like audio. And so this is kind of what I personally use and that I've experimented with over the years. The ring light right here, 100% worth the money. It is very, very helpful, and it makes a really, really big difference in your videos. Whether you're using overhead lights and or whether you're using, you know, your own lights in a dark room, having some kind of ring light or at least a lamp or something pointed at your face at an angle to kind of just light you up makes a really big difference. I also usually use the Philips Hue bulbs, which I like a lot. You can change the color. I usually have them in a blue and orange combo. So I'll show my setup in a minute. I usually have one on my left, orange, and one on my right, blue. Whether they're necessary or not kind of depends on you and what kind of setup you're going for. I would definitely recommend the ring light, way more important than any accessory lighting like the Philips Hue. But if you want to have a, you know, more of a colorful looking setup, they're very helpful. And then the LED strip, not super necessary. I just kind of use it for a little bit of, you know, background color. You can see behind me, I have it around my monitor, just to kind of add a little bit of, you know, color to my lighting setup. Both of these, this one comes with like a remote, you can change the colors, and then Philips Hue, it actually connects to your phone. So I'm not saying I recommend using this exact, you know, setup, but these are what I use. And I think it's helpful just that way. If you want to change things up, you have options. You can use different colors and kind of experiment with how you want your video to look. Because like I said, you got to experiment. And I think having these sometimes might give you a little bit too many options. I definitely feel that. But at least to have something to, you know, to play around with the lighting and the colors you want to use. Any questions or comments so far? Good so far? Okay, cool.
Jacob, sorry, how does
Yeah.
my audio sound with this mic? And be brutally honest, I don't just be honest. Do I sound really bad?
It sounds fine. I don't know that it, like, what are you using right now? It might just be Zoom and on the computer, but are you using like a microphone, or what do you have?
I've got, I don't think you can see it. It's called Blue something. I got it some years back.
Blue Yeti?
It's like, sorry?
Is it a Blue Yeti? Is that what it's called?
That's it,
Is it like a
yeah.
standalone microphone?
That's right, yeah. And it's on like a stand, but I think I paid about 50 or 60 pounds for it, but like some years back.
Yeah, that's a good option. Yeah. I like it. I have one that's very similar to that. I think it's great. I feel like the audio sometimes sounds different on Zoom than it does when I'm like recording on the computer. But yeah,
Right.
you sound good. I don't think you're super echoey, as far as I can tell, but yeah.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
That was it.
Graeme. Yeah. Graeme, did you have a question? I saw your hand raised.
Yeah, I was just I was saying be careful when you start not to go down the rabbit hole of equipment. Probably
Yeah.
once you become more attuned to what you're doing, you might want to. You know, I have a couple of mixing desks. I use a Rode Duocast mixing desk with a ELPR40 microphone from my podcasting, and the sound is incredible. But
Yeah.
of course, there's a cost to that. But what I would say about YouTube, though, is I think, and I feel, and I think other people feel the same thing, is that the audio is definitely more important than the video.
Yeah.
You know, I experimented with 4K camera, which I have, and I'm like, whatever. I'll use it for taking photographs of, you know,
Yeah.
plants or whatever.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
my cheaper camera, but you know, I think the audio is super important. So
Yeah,
all
I
I
agree.
wanted to say, and it can, you know, once you get down there, it can get expensive, and if you're making money and stuff, it could be a good thing.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, I think yeah, so yeah, 100%. I think that audio 100% matters more than the video quality sometimes, especially like for me, if the audio is like glitchy or scratchy when I'm watching a video, I feel like I will not watch the rest of the video. Sometimes if it's like very echoey, I can make it work. But yeah, audio very important. So like bare minimum, I would say like if you just want to go with like the ring light and lav mic, I did just those two for quite a while with my setup, and that worked. And I think that was very helpful. Because you know, you can have great quality video if you just have your phone, lav mic, and ring light. I think those are kind of like the essentials. And everything else, you know, if you have, you know, extra money, you want to play around with it, yeah, you can go for that. But definitely I think that it's important to just get started, and there's like endless ways you can kind of obsess about the lighting and the, you know, the background you're using or picking the right room in your house. But I feel like just having, you know, sticking with one microphone, one light, and your phone is a really, really good way to start. And these days with iPhones, like I feel like it's pretty comparable to having a camera. Just kind of getting started is the big thing. And as long as you can find a way to improve your video every time, you know, if you don't like the way you turn out in one video one week, try to make it a little bit better the next week. You know, see it, whether that's the actual editing, whether that's, you know, you want to put your light in a different position, or, you know, sit in a different location or different part of your house. I think that, you know, between the lav mic right here and then the ring light, very, very easy to get started. Any other questions or anything so far I can help you guys with? Good. Okay. What else do I have on here? Yeah. I to this day film either with a camera or with an iPhone. I use a lot more light when I film with an iPhone, just because if it's a low light setting, I have found that it does not look as good. So I'll just use the overhead lights and a ring light, and that's what you're seeing right here in the one to the right. The one to the left has a lot more stuff with the LED lights, so the Philips Hue, and the ones the strip light on the sorry, the monitor behind me. But yeah, they both work. And what else is on here? That's kind of how I have my setup when I'm using an iPhone. So like I said, just ring light, phone on a little tripod, and then if I'm using a lav mic, I just plug it into my phone, and I try to make sure that it is not super visible across the table right there. And then you know, put it on my shirt. And again, experiment a few times. Every time I film a video, whether I'm doing it with my phone and the lav mic, or if I'm using the camera and a standalone mic, I will do several test runs before I actually film the video for real, just to make sure that the audio sounds good and that I look good on camera. Because I've had a few times where I have filmed the video for real without doing a test run, and there's something with the audio, like you keep hearing it scratch against my shirt, or I am not in focus for like half the video. So again, just kind of experimenting with it and doing a couple test rounds of just like sit there for 20 seconds, film it, immediately just review it, watch it, make sure you look good. And if you like it, then just, you know, press record again and film the video for real. And then next slide. This is what it looks like when I use a camera. Again, you don't need to worry about having this level. I'm just showing this to show if I have, you know, a more involved setup that I'm doing for a day, this is what it looks like. And I have, you know, same thing, the ring light, my computer is kind of hidden away, camera right here. And then, like I said, my Philips Hue bulbs, and then the LED strip on the computer behind me. And then, yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. Again, that's more of a complicated setup. I'm not saying you guys need to have that. That's just how I do it. And these are the Hue bulbs, ring light. Really, if you just pay attention to having your phone or camera right here, ring light kind of in front of you at an angle and slightly up is how I do it. I don't have it like head on my face, like straight ahead. I do it at an angle. That way you have like a little bit more like kind of the shadows on the side of your face. That's the 3-point light setup that I do. Again, if you guys want to go for that, great. definitely not necessary at all to first get started. And then I think finally, yeah. When I say experimentation, like this is literally what I've done over the last 3 or 4 years. So like every year it's been, you know, up until I have this office I'm in right now, it's been a different room, different setup. And, you know, I think Sonia was the one that said it before, done is better than perfect. Just get your videos out there. Every single time I filmed a video for the first like 1 or 2 years, it was like a very different setup. And I look back and I'm like, I really don't like some of my setups. But it's fine because I got them out there and it worked. We got leads and, you know, get better at it over time. Try to make your videos a little bit better, you know, one from the next. And, you know, you'll get to a point where, you know, a year, 2 years, 3 years from now, you'll look back at your videos and it's like, ooh, that's maybe a little bit cringy to watch, you know, whether it's the way you talk, the way your face is lit up, or just like the actual editing. It is definitely a journey over time. So this is kind of what the last 4 years has looked like for me. And then I think this one right here is like one of my most recent videos from either this month or last month. That's kind of it as far as what I had for you guys today. If this is helpful, if there's anything else you guys are wondering about, please let me know because I want this group to kind of be as helpful as it can for you guys. So do you guys have any follow-up questions or anything else that you want to go over? Because that's kind of it as far as the slides that I prepared for this. Yeah, Sonia.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead, and if you want to go first, that's fine.
Go ahead.
Okay, perfect. Well, first, thank you, Jacob. It was really good. And thank you for putting everything together. I think it took you quite some time. One question I had is, do you do your editing yourself or do you have your VA do it? And do you know what tool they're using or what software they're using to do it?
Yeah, good question. So I do a little bit of editing myself. I have a VA who does most of the editing. So the way that I do it now, and by the way, this is not how I started it, but the way that I do things now is I am the one who comes up with the ideas. I will plan, script, film all my videos myself. When I finish pressing record and I'm finished with the video, I will put it on my computer and sync up the audio and the video. I will watch the whole video through at like 2 times speed and just immediately cut out anything that I don't like because sometimes I'll do like 2 or 3 takes of the same part of the video, cut it out, and I will send that to my VA along with kind of a package of B-roll, drone footage, any graphs, any screen shares, any kind of extra footage I have for the video. I'll send it to her. She'll put it all together and send it back to me. For the first, I want to say 2 years though, I did everything myself. So I have a MacBook. I use Final Cut Pro. That's always what I've used. I think I started with iMovie at first, and Final Cut Pro is very similar to iMovie, just way more options. In the beginning, really all I did was just cut and, you know, put clips together. And that was it. Like no text, no animation, no, you know, I might have added like some videos or some images on there. But every single time I tried to learn a little bit more about, you know, editing when I made a video. Right now, I have had my VA for 2 years. So out of my 2 VAs, one of them just does video editing for YouTube videos. I pay her roughly $800 bi-weekly. So she has a salary in the Philippine pesos. She gets paid $45,000 pesos, I should say, every 2 weeks. So she's about $400 a week. And that's salaried. So whether she does 1 video or 3 videos in a week, she gets paid the same. She's wonderful. I used like a third party like VA agency to hire her like about a little over 2 years ago. Does that help answer your question?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you.
Yeah.
I was using Final. Yeah, sorry. No, I was about to say I was using Final Cut Pro too. Initially, I was using Adobe Premiere, but I found it too glitchy, too complicated. I ended up purchasing Final Cut Pro and I never got back. So I was just wondering if you were doing the same or if you had anything else to recommend.
Yeah, and so it's funny. I briefly used Adobe, and same thing, like because I know that's what people use like for like professional like movies and videos, and it just like it didn't really click for me, especially because I had used Final Cut Pro before, and like the format for Adobe was just like very different for me. My VA who does YouTube videos uses Filmora, and then I have another VA who does more like social media stuff and a lot of SEO stuff. But if he ever does videos, he uses Adobe. But yeah, I personally like Final Cut Pro a lot. I think I know Nathan says he uses iMovie. But yeah, Final Cut for me has been great. And then Anne, I know you had a question, and then we'll do Graeme after.
Yeah, I have a lot of questions, but I'm going to stick to what I need in order to proceed to my next step, which is I've
Okay.
been kind of obsessing about like, does channel name really matter? Like thinking of like, I probably want to repurpose a lot of things for Instagram, for example. So should it be the same handle? Like, should it be my name, or, how important is it?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know if there's a right answer, but I'll give you the answer that I've used. I like having YouTube channels with that are searchable, like some kind of keyword in there. So the St. Louis one is Living St. Louis, and my new SEO one is Real Estate SEO Strategy. I try to make it searchable. Kind of like same philosophy with using an exact match domain or partial match domain. I try to do that with YouTube channels. Obviously, there's plenty of people who will use their own name or their company name. The reason I like having more of a keyword-based channel is because you can see the name of the channel and immediately have some kind of idea what it's about. If I name my channels Jacob Peistrup, that doesn't really tell you what it's about without watching the videos or without reading the bio. So that's just kind of my take on it. I don't do a ton with social media, with Instagram. I probably should do more, but I do have an Instagram account that I will repurpose some of the real estate videos from YouTube into reels, or just make separate posts or videos. And that handle is the same. It's Living St. Louis. It's just like living_St. Louis. So I keep them the same. I don't know if there's a right or wrong way to do it. I think it's kind of dependent on how you want to do things, because I've also thought about, for example, like our website is completely like separate name and branding from the YouTube channel. And that's because my YouTube channel existed before I did any SEO on the website. So our YouTube channel is Living St. Louis. My Instagram is Living St. Louis. The real estate group I work with and do SEO on their site is Gateway Realty Group, and the domain is thestlrealtors.com. So it's like they look very separate, which the reason for that is because I kind of did YouTube for a couple years before I ever touched SEO. But I think that if you want to be intentional about having it consistent, like your website with your YouTube channel with your Instagram, I think that definitely doesn't hurt. But whether you want to make it branded around yourself personally or some kind of searchable keyword is up to you. My preference is just for having it searchable, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thanks. And as far as editing, I just wanted to share for people who don't want to have another learning curve of learning how to use an editing tool. I just started using Descript, and it's kind of like my version of Loom videos, where you can, it's like AI, so you can read the transcript and just like highlight over it and delete all the filler words and all that. It's like AI, and I haven't gotten to this part yet, but it's supposed to like intuitively help you figure out which sections to turn into shorts and stuff like that.
Oh, that's really cool.
That. Yeah, and it's super cheap. So
basically it like you edit the video by just editing the transcript, and whatever you delete, it cuts out of the video.
Yeah, like there's a
Okay.
a mode called like Underlord or something like that, and you just click a button and it deletes all the filler words, and then click another button, deletes all the pauses, and then there's like a retake thing. I have not, like, I've just edited Loom type videos, like tutorial things, but nothing like as robust as YouTube videos. But I like it. It's, I I spent like 3 minutes learning it. So it was really intuitive. And so it's not going to, give you like the style that you have. But I think for me, if I have to learn a whole other tool, like a, video editing tool, I think that's another hurdle where you're, so yeah.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense. Yeah, honest, I feel like I might have heard about that, but I've never used it personally. So if that works, 100% go for it, because I will definitely agree that, video editing is an entirely new skill set in itself. I think the reason I started editing my own videos was because I had just like from high school and college, like I took classes like where we just had video editing projects. So like I had a little bit of understanding of it, which helped. But yeah, I've definitely spent money on like courses and stuff just to learn video editing, and it is not an easy skill to learn whatsoever. Takes a lot of time. So if Descript works, 100% go for it. Yeah. Graeme, did you have another question too?
I was just wondering your opinion on teleprompters, scripting, not scripting, your favorite format of video, type of presentation, etc.
Yeah. So I'm not saying this is the right way to do it or not, because I know Nathan has talked a lot about this and how he full on uses a script and a teleprompter. I personally don't. The way that I will usually do things is I will usually have a script for the first part of my video, like the hook or the introduction, because I feel like that's very important in the first minute or two of your video. And then depending on what the video actually is, I will use either bullet points or like a partial script where I'll have topics and I will write out a couple sentences for the first part of it to get myself started. But then once I've started, I can kind of roll for a little bit. I would say like try it both ways. Because in the beginning, especially for me, when I was much less comfortable on camera, I leaned more towards having an actual script where I would plan out the intro, and then all the topics in the video. What I do, and what I did a lot in the beginning is I will be filming and have my phone with me, and I use Google Docs for my scripts or my outlines. Either my phone or my laptop kind of in front of me. But I'm not looking at it when I film. What I'll do is I will, read 1 to 2 sentences and kind of memorize that, get it down, look at the camera, say those. Sometimes I'll do it in one go. Sometimes it takes me, 2 or 3 times to get it to come out the way I want it to. Take a breather, look back at my notes again, and just kind of do it like that. I'm not saying that's the best way or the most efficient way to do it, but that is what I prefer over doing something like a teleprompter. I think that with a teleprompter, you just have to be careful so that you don't look like you're reading it, your eyes going back and forth while you're filming the video. I think it also depends on like how you feel about being on camera, because for me in the beginning, I was like very uncomfortable. Like I have very introverted tendencies, and having at least like line by line of what I wanted to say in front of me helped me a lot. These days, it also depends on the kind of video I'm doing. So for example, with like one of the real estate videos, sometimes there is like a lot of research that goes into that where I can't really memorize what I'm saying. Like there's numbers, there's, I'm talking about a development or looking at site plans for, city documents that I found that I want to talk about and show in a video. That's hard to, not use a script for. But with some of like my SEO videos, if I'm talking about, why backlinks are important, or, how to think about what a primary keyword is, some of that stuff, like I understand it. I don't need to script out everything, but I will oftentimes script out like the hook or the first sentence that leads into that point, and go from there. Does that make sense? Does that help answer your question?
The reason why I actually asked this is because for my other channel, I never scripted anything. It was all editing. I experimented. I had a podcast for SEO, which had a good number of episodes, which was scripted. And you can read it. It sounds kind of scripted in places. So I ended up doing very sort of almost informal scripting, and it sounded a lot better. But I think what I'm struggling with is for my niche is figuring out what the subject matter is for that audience, because I think it's easy for us to copy the experts. You know, we look at Nathan, we think we should, you know, talk about SEO or something like that. But of course, my arborist guys don't even know how to use a computer. That's not what they want. And I think, you know, also whether it's informal or whether it's a bit more formal, I was toying around with the idea of, you know, like a diary or something where I don't need a script. It's just my day in the Tree Care SEO Services office, you know, type of thing. Sure, I bought teleprompters and bits and pieces. I love buying junk. I've got lots of junk. So yeah, it was just a question, because I'm veering away from scripting myself. It does sound very robotic if you're not careful.
Yeah, I agree. Another thing that I will say too, for me personally, and this is kind of why when I do a video, I do like a partial script, because if I just like kind of go into a video like on the fly without any script, I have this tendency to just like ramble, and I will say the same things, just worded differently throughout the video. And for a while I was like self-conscious because I would get comments on YouTube being like, dude, you repeat yourself so much, like stop. And I was like, oh my God, like, am I really? And I rewatch the videos, be like, yeah, I could kind of see that. Like you know, if I just had like a few bullet points, I would say the same things again and again. And on one hand, I thought that I was maybe helping someone understand by like explaining it different ways, you know, so that way if someone's trying to learn it, like maybe I just need to explain it differently. But I found that, you know, having at least some sentences written, you know, the way I want to say them on camera kind of helps put some guardrails up, because I feel like if I don't have that, I will just ramble and the video ends up being way longer than it needs to be. Yeah, Ben.
Thanks, Jacob. This is all really helpful, by the way. Really, really helpful. The
Yeah,
question I
glad to
have
hear
is, what does it look like when people reach out to you from YouTube or via YouTube? How are you turning those views into leads? Do you have a funnel? Do you have you know, how exactly are you doing it?
Yeah, good question. Also, bye, Graeme. Thanks for coming here. I appreciate that. So the biggest source of leads for us has been direct reach outs through email, text, or phone calls. So, and I feel like this is maybe a little bit unique in the world of YouTube. But I started, and this has always been consistent. I had a Google Voice number and a dedicated email address that I was using. So the way that I would have leads reach out, and keep in mind, these are real estate leads that I've been getting. So you might want to adapt this if you're trying to get, you know, leads for your agency. But I would try to gradually lead into a call to action based on whatever I was saying, you know, usually some kind of story or telling information. Just say, by the way, if you would like help with this, which in the videos is, you know, buying or selling a house or doing new construction, please reach out. I would have the email address and the phone number pop up on the screen, which would also be in the description. It's in the channel bio. Like I want to have it in multiple places for people to see. But that has been by far like the biggest source of leads. And again, because I focused way more on YouTube in the beginning than I did with SEO. So for the first couple of years, like I didn't even really have a website I was using. Like the real estate agents I work with had a website, but it was like stagnant. It was not doing anything. So it was always direct reach outs. And to this day, it still is. And I think that it again depends on how you want to have leads come, because it can definitely be more chaotic having people just texting you, calling you, emailing you. I like to give people some options. So some people are more comfortable calling, some are more comfortable texting and emailing. As things with the real estate agents have grown, I've been way more specific, like text or email us. I used to say like call, text, email. Calls are just way more chaotic because we don't always have time to answer them. And as much as I will say to text or to email, I will still get people that reach out to me on Facebook or Instagram, which I used to respond to them in the beginning, but these days I usually don't respond, depending on what it is too, because I feel like the lowest quality leads are the ones that will reach out some random way, like Instagram or Facebook. I feel like the highest quality leads will email you or text you and kind of give you everything you need to know if you're asking them to reach out to you. But if you want someone to go to, you know, a landing page on your website, you can say that. if the, if the website address is easy to type in, you can have it pop up on screen, or you can just, put it in the description of the video, or put it in a comment and then pin that comment on the video, so you show up number one. So again, like, depends on how you want to do things. Because I feel like the whole like call to action and lead gen is where you can really go a lot of different ways depending on how you want to do it. For us, we've always done email and phone, because I feel like the reason I do that to this day instead of having a landing page or a lead form is because I feel like it makes it easier for someone to reach out who's maybe somewhere in between, where reaching out through a lead form or to schedule a call might seem a little bit formal and might seem like they have to have it figured out. Whereas we have gotten a lot of leads to just have a question, that have like texted like, hey, I'm wondering about this. You said this in a video, what's the scoop here? Or, emailing us like, hey, we have questions about this. We saw your video. Can you give us more information? And those have led to converted closings for the real estate agents. It's worked out great. But in the beginning, it started with just kind of, I have a question. So that has worked really well for us. Again, I know it really depends on your situation and how you want to get leads, but that's just how I've done it. Does that make sense, Ben?
Yeah, very helpful. Thank you. Cheers, Jacob.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Guy, yeah, what's up?
Yeah, so for like myself, who has like no videos about to start up YouTube, like what did you do at the start? Did you have like a goal like per week, like, okay, maybe this week I'll post like 1 or 2 videos, and then maybe on Instagram, I'll do like a couple of short clips? Like, how would you approach that? Like,
yeah, so the way I did it, and I definitely agree with what Nathan says on this, like, pick one channel and focus on being consistent there. So I, up until like honestly like a couple months ago, I was like very consistent, 1 video per week. I would always post on Sundays, and I did that for several years. Like there were a few exceptions where I would miss, but for a really long time I just posted 1 video a week on Sunday. The real estate channel was my first one, and I just did that for a while. And at first, I think I picked Sundays because after I had a few videos, that was like, based on the analytics, the best day to post for my audience. I don't think that matters. I think that picking one day every single week to post helps more for your own psychology than it does for anything related to the algorithm. And even to this day, like Sundays is a posting day. Obviously with 3 channels now, like it's harder to be consistent. I don't do every week. I do like every 2 or 3 weeks, I would say. But in the beginning, I would say pick a day. I liked weekends and always have liked weekends for posting because, things can be chaotic Monday through Friday. And I feel like it's nice to have a little bit of a safety net Saturday and Sunday, where if I don't get a video done, or oftentimes these days, I will have a video that is kind of finished. Like my editor has sent it back to me, but I need to, clean it up, make sure it looks good, make sure, because sometimes I'm very like nitpicky about it. Clean it up, export it, and then do everything with the thumbnail, the title, the description, making sure that I feel good about that. Because sometimes like, with the video itself and the title, or sorry, the thumbnail, I will just like go back and forth, like, does this look good? Does this look better? Especially with a thumbnail, like I'm always like making little tweaks. And I feel like I like having Saturdays and Sundays to just kind of mess around with that a little bit more, because it doesn't feel like a good use of my time during the week. And then usually like sometimes Sunday morning or, early Sunday afternoon is when I will post. But for, I would say, at least 2 years, that was very consistent and it just became part of my routine. And I think that helped me tremendously, because I think that in the beginning, consistency is really tough, where if you let yourself be lenient, where I'm going to miss a video this week, like, that's fine. Like, I'll do it next week. And then next week becomes 2 weeks, becomes 3 weeks. And then you kind of fall off the wagon. That is something that I thought was very helpful for me, where now, like I said, I'm not as consistent anymore, but I think that's because I already built the muscle over the last 4 years of being consistent, where it's not something I struggle with filming a video, editing. It's just, between the SEO stuff and the YouTube stuff, I sometimes just don't have time to film a video once a week. But to your point, I would really focus on just doing 1 video a week. If you want to worry about like repurposing that to Instagram or TikTok or anything later down the line, go for it. But I would say commit to just YouTube first, and whatever you can handle. If once a week is too much for you, then go, once every 2 weeks. But I think it helps a lot to just have 1 day. So it's either like once a week or once every 2 weeks, do that. Because I feel like if you were to do like once every like 10 days or so, the day is going to change. And I feel like having that consistency in your schedule is very helpful. And I think that's an underrated thing that doesn't get talked about enough, where being consistent, people will say like it matters for like growing your channel and the algorithm. I think that it's just more for your own psychology and your own mental state, in my opinion. Does that help?
Yeah, loads. Thank you for that.
Yeah, of course. By the way, welcome, Dan. I saw you come in here. We're just kind of going over some questions. I had some stuff to share about setup. I can send my slides to you and send the recording after this in case anyone wants to rewatch anything.
Okay, yeah, thank you. Sorry, I had the camera off because I'm eating lunch. I didn't realize it'd be noon my time, so
You're
trying
good,
to be
no worries.
respectful. Okay, thanks.
Yeah, of course. Any other questions, guys? Anything I can help with? No? Okay. And did you have any other follow-up questions? I know you said you had a couple, and I know in your survey you said you were committed to getting started with the video. Is there anything I can do to help?
Yeah.
Sorry,
like,
didn't mean to call on you there, but
no. I mean, I just don't want to hog up all the airtime, but I guess like just to get started, I kind of like obsess over too much sometimes just getting started. Like I don't think about like just do the first video. No one's ever going to watch it.
I feel that. Yeah.
Thinking about like the 20, or whatever.
Mhm.
So how do you decide on your ideas? Like I mean, like if I were to just start, because how you're going to do it is different than how I should do it, but
Mhm.
I'm writing down like all my customers' pain points, maybe, and then
Yeah.
like speaking to that versus like doing, like YouTube keyword research, which I haven't even looked at. And I don't even know if that's really going to tell me exactly what the videos are. And, like there's only so many pain points and you've got like, I don't know, 400 videos. So like, do you just say the same thing in different ways, or how should I like think about the first 10 videos?
Yeah. So this one is definitely something I've thought about a lot too, especially because the way I've been doing it with the real estate channel is very different from the SEO channel, and the SEO channel has been definitely a struggle. And I know that one's kind of the one that's probably more relevant to you guys. The way I started like the St. Louis channel is that I basically had, I think like the first 4 or 5 videos, I would pick like a question to answer. So I think like the order I did was, and they were also searchable. So it was like moving to St. Louis, and then it was like pros and cons of living in St. Louis, and then it was the top suburbs of St. Louis. Obviously, I know that probably might not help with the agency side. I think there's kind of 2 ways you could look at it. You could look at it on the one hand, kind of like you said, like just film the videos, because in the beginning it's going to be tough with traction. So if you wanted to just pick like the top questions that you get from your clients that are, maybe recurring themes across clients, whatever that might be, and you make a video to kind of answer that and have the searchable element like in the back of your mind. Like I always think about that, obviously, like I don't think that YouTube is as driven by keyword research as it is with SEO, because I think sometimes it's just more about having a compelling thumbnail and title, especially because you do have search on YouTube, but you also have browse. But if you just want to pick like a couple questions to answer and just make those their own video in the beginning to start with, I think that could definitely be a great way to start. I can share if you want the way I've been doing it with my SEO channel, which again, it's been out of like the 4 or 5 channels I've started, this one has been the slowest to grow. So first, I started with making videos about how to grow on YouTube for real estate agents, and those were pretty slow, still are to this day. Like traction has been very inconsistent. But what I've been doing is I have been looking at people that have successful channels. So like Nathan, Brian Dean, and filtering by their most popular videos in terms of views and kind of recreating those for my specific industry. I'm not saying that's the right way to do it. My goal with this channel right now is just to kind of grow it and get more views and subscribers. I'm not really trying to get leads right now because in my opinion, I kind of need some kind of foundation before I try to get leads from this. So like if you look at like Nathan's channel, he did a video like this like a couple weeks ago. How to actually learn SEO is one of his top videos. I did like how to do SEO on a real estate website. So I basically like I looked at popular channels. So like Neil Patel, Nathan, Brian Dean, and I looked at their most popular videos and just kind of did that for my industry. Again, I'm not saying that's the way to do it, but that was how I kind of started with this new channel on SEO. It's definitely been a learning curve. I don't know if that's going to be, what helps me continue to grow, but that's what I'm doing now. I know that might not be the most helpful answer, but that's kind of what I've been doing instead of any keyword research. And that kind of goes for any YouTube channel. Find like a competitor and find a video that has done really, really well in terms of views and try to match the title and the thumbnail and the contents of that video and see how you can make it better. It's kind of like the skyscraper equivalent with SEO, but on YouTube, like, kind of just duplicate that, put your own spin on it and see if you can make it better. And that's kind of how I've been starting with the videos, at least in the beginning. And to your point about having, a couple hundred videos after a while, yes, I will go back and just refilm the same video after 1 year, if it performs well, and add to it if I can. Sometimes I'm saying the same stuff again and again. And I know Nathan talks about this, like, yes, I think that sometimes I overestimate how many videos a person is watching, where most people are probably just going to see 1 or 2 videos. So I think it's totally okay to say the same stuff multiple times. But yeah, and that's the thing, guys, like the beginning is tough. Like, I'm not going to lie, it is really difficult. Just, having the motivation to do it, having the consistency every single week. But what I've noticed doing this across a couple channels now is that it does grow and it does compound. And what you'll see is that you have the ability after a year or so to just go back, delete your old videos and just redo it. And, it'll get more views, more leads the second time around because you have a better channel foundation. You will get comments that will lead to video ideas because people have questions and kind of follow-ups on your videos. So it's kind of like in the beginning, you have to do all the work yourself. But once you have some kind of foundation, I promise you, like, it will get better to come up with ideas because you'll be able to see which videos perform well. When you talk to your leads, ask them how they found you, which videos they watched, because you cannot track that when someone reaches out, especially for us getting phone calls, emails, and texts. Like, I have absolutely no idea what video someone watched unless they tell me what they were searching for, what kind of information they wanted, and why they liked my videos and reached out. So again, all of that to say, in the beginning, you're kind of shooting in the dark and you just have to get stuff out there. But once you have some kind of traction, it makes it easier to at least have a target of what videos to do next, because you'll have some kind of feedback from leads, from people on YouTube with comments. And then, yeah, honestly, I'm not going to lie, just after a year or so, I'll redo an old video, and every single time it just, if it got views in the first place, it gets more views when I delete it and refilm it. Does that help, Anne?
Yeah. And have you ever run ads to your videos to boost views? Because I have a client, an SEO client, and she does a lot of YouTube, and her competitors have like thousands of views, and her YouTube consultants, I guess she boosted her videos. I've been running some ads because we're getting like a penny a view. So it just looks like more social proof, as opposed to like her videos organically get like 300 views and she gets a lot of leads. It just, compared to her competitors who get like 10,000 views, she was getting 300 but still getting leads. So yeah, I was just wondering if that affects the algorithm, and I don't see I don't know that a lot of people do that.
Yeah, I don't know a ton about the pre-roll ads. I have heard some very mixed reviews about it. Because I feel like Nathan might have talked about it at some point too. For lead generation, I've never done it. I had one channel a while back where I tried that. Yeah, thanks for joining, Sonia. I'll send out the slides and the link to everyone later on. Bye.
Thank you. Bye,
Yeah,
everyone.
of course. Yeah, and I have heard, that it can help as far as like growing organically and getting leads. I have also heard that it has the ability to, if you don't do it well, to kind of tank your video's performance, because what can happen, I do know, if you run a pre-roll ad to the wrong people, is that you get a bunch of people watching for like 1 second and then dropping, and that tanks your average view duration, which is very, very important for the algorithm. I don't know that there's like a right or wrong way to do it, but I've heard some people talk about the idea of having like a second channel where you have that channel, blow it up as much as you want with ads and pre-roll, but keep that separate from your organic channel. Whoever your client is, like if she's getting leads already from her videos with 300 views, I feel like that's definitely a really strong indicator that what she's doing works. I can definitely relate to the fact that it doesn't feel as good to have a video with 5, 10, maybe 100 views if everyone else has way more. What I can show you too, I don't know if this will help or not. Hang on, I'm trying to pull up my analytics and I can show you something with one of my videos. Hang on. Let me share my screen. Thanks, Dale. Yeah, thanks for showing up.
Bye, Dale.
This is what it looks like when you have content that is just like evergreen and it grows over time. This is one of my first videos ever published. Literally November of 2020. Obviously, it's dropped in views, and I think this is one that I've redone without deleting the old one. But if you like go back to the beginning, like the first almost month I had, so first month I had 200 views, and this has gone up to 23,000 views. It grows over time 100%. So if your client has like 300 views now, but if there's some searchable element to it, and I think that if you just give it time, it really compounds. And that's why, again, like in the beginning, it's super challenging, just the mental aspect, the motivation to keep going. But when you look back a year or two from now, and if you keep putting the videos out there, it does grow and it does compound. And I see this with pretty much all of my, I'm trying to find a good example. This is a recent one that's done really well with leads. It's not my most viewed, but if you look at this for, I'm coming up on almost a year. Again, it's been 23,000 views. In the beginning, like it's just kind of rough. This one did apparently better, like 1,400 views in the first month, which is not very common for me. I'll usually get like maybe a couple hundred. But it just shoots up over time. And this is a video where, it's not my most viral video, like 23,000 views compared to some of my other ones with 500,000 here. These ones like unlisted after a while just because they got a lot of views, but they did not get leads. And I could tell from leads coming in, we got some random stuff from these videos that got a lot of views, but not very relevant leads. It does grow over time, but whether you want to do that and get ads to your videos pre-roll, I would say is up to you. I really don't know enough about, I don't have enough experience with that to really give a recommendation there, but that might help to consider. Does that help?
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because my client's getting really good view throughs with her promoted videos. I don't think I will because I'm not as polished, but I think I just need it for my ego more than like I don't want to see 2 views and one of them was me. So yeah.
I get that. No, yeah. I feel the exact same way with my SEO channel, especially like since I'm positioning it at, for realtors, like this channel will help you rank better on YouTube and Google. And it's like I have videos with 5 views, and between my real estate channel and the SEO channel, like same level of effort, same level of like planning, editing, like it's like I'm putting a lot of effort into both. And it feels very different to post one on the St. Louis channel and get 1,000 views in a week, and the SEO channel I've got like I think 150 views in the last month total, and most of that is from like 3 shorts I posted, not even long form videos. So yeah, it's been a slow start and still is. So I definitely understand that about how it doesn't feel great to get a couple of views. I really try to ignore it. I'm not gonna lie. I obviously, like, I know it feels really good, like when you post a video too, like it'll show you how your video currently is performing compared to others in the first like day or first 2 days after you post it. But yeah, I try to, this is way easier said than done, to kind of detach yourself from the results. But if you can do that, just focus on putting more content out there. Kind of like how Nathan talks about it with websites, like just cover more of your topic, cover more of your industry, and focus on getting videos out there. But yeah, the beginning is definitely slow, and definitely, getting a couple of views here and there does not feel good. I try to ignore it. I'm not gonna lie, just because
I guess
it's
you have
like
to look at
it
it like
kind of tanks your ego.
I guess we have to look at it like posting a article on a website. It's not going to get any views until a few
Yeah.
months from now.
Yeah.
So yeah, that makes
Bye, Ben.
sense.
Thanks for coming. Yeah, sorry, I know we're at like an hour and a half here, guys. Any other questions or anything? I can send, if this was helpful, I can send out another invite to do one of these again in the next week or two. I know this one was a lot more about like the actual setup, but if you guys want to talk about stuff like, planning out your first couple of videos, I'm happy to share more about that. One thing that I like to do is batch shoot videos, especially because like I do not like setting up for a video. I don't like being on camera. It's not fun. What I do is I will try to, plan out 3 or 4 videos and do those in one day. That way I'm good for the next month. Is there anything else that would be helpful to hear about or to, talk about with this accountability group?
Yeah, that would be super helpful. And yeah, I mean, I think, I just appreciate like the behind the scenes, and like the fact that you don't like being on camera, yet your
Don't like
your
it.
revenue, your main source of income is being on camera. So
Yeah.
I like the mindset, because you can get a lot of that stuff on YouTube, like all the how-to whatever, but
Yeah.
it really does help to hear the mindset and like actually, see it in person and everything. So yeah, I
Yeah.
really appreciate putting this together.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. Yeah, it's not fun at the beginning. It, like, even with SEO for me, like I feel the same way. Like it's not fun, and it was not fun like a year and a half ago starting on the website, like putting out these articles and like not getting any leads, not getting any traffic. And I know like it's good to try to separate yourself from the results, but I'm not gonna lie, like I feel great when I post a video and we get leads coming in the next day, or we get leads from a video that's like a year old and they're coming in now. And in the beginning, you don't have that, and it is rough, and it's difficult to do that. It does get more fun as it goes on. I don't love being on video. I really have to hype myself up for it, to kind of put myself in like a social mood to be on video, because I still don't like it. But yeah, trying to detach from the outcome of how many views the video gets and whether it gets leads or not, is a big thing, and it does get easier over time. But especially in the beginning, I feel like it's very easy to put a lot of weight on every single video. But really, like, just getting started is the biggest thing. And I feel like, especially, and if you have like no videos, you haven't filmed one before, I would just say like just try one, like introduce yourself, like talk about yourself, like pick something that is easy to talk about where you don't have to have a script or an outline, and just like talk about, your passion for, the clients you work with, or SEO, or like something, whatever it is that you want to talk about, where you feel good enough to talk about it, like unscripted if you want. Because I feel like for me, that's, especially if I do like a warm up for a video, like I find that to be helpful. Just talk about myself, talk about my day. It never ends up in the video, but it's good to at least just have that to get started, because it feels very weird to sit in a room by myself, even now, with a camera for just like 20 minutes talking to it. And I'm like, is this really what I do? Like, to make the biggest source of like my income? And like, it feels weird. But it's almost like after a while, I become like non-emotional about it. Like, it's like, especially like editing and stuff, it feels very weird to edit yourself after video. And I feel like, it becomes more normal after time. But getting started is kind of like the mental battle is the biggest part.
Great.
All right. Well, thanks guys for joining. I will send out the recording for this and the slides. And then I would say probably in the next like week or two, if you guys want to do this again, I will send out details for that. I'll have to think over, like I have some ideas, but I have to sift through and think about like what makes sense for going forward. And if you guys have any thoughts or anything you want to talk about, just send me an email or reply to the one I sent with the link for this. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys on the call later on with Nathan, but enjoy the rest of your day, guys.
Yeah, thanks.
Thank you.
Yep, bye.